Angelo was very harsh on the Eagles. I saw Gary Cobb posting some stuff earlier today with some pretty good stuff on Barkley. By the way, I guess he was sensational out there over the weekend. Now, before I bring Gary Cobb on, I got to prepare Gary Cobb because Angelo said, and I don't know if I can even say this, but Angelo's going to come on Monday. And everyone knows that Gary's been so kind with his time, so he's going to come on every Monday. And he predicted this amount of wins. I can't even say it out loud because Gary will see it. This amount of wins. He said 5 wins. So let's bring in Gary Cobb and see if he's going to contradict that and say it was on last hour, and he said this football team come Friday will surrender over 400 yards in passing yards to Jordan Love. And he said something like 35-17 Packers. And that the Eagles win only 5 games. What says Gary Cobb?
I mean, me and Angelo, we're good friends. Angelo's good with me. I'm good with Angelo, but I don't agree with him though. No, I don't agree with him. I mean, and I could see where he's looking at last year and some
and
of
the
things,
defense.
And the defense. So I think the defense is probably going to have some challenges. They got a lot of young players. They're just getting it together. But I think offensively, though, I mean, this is the most talented Eagles offense when it comes to the players. And and I've been around the Eagles for 30-some years. It's the most talented group they've had. Now,
you think this is the most talented offensive personnel, Gary, they've had in the Super Bowl era?
When you just talk about personnel, yes, I think it is. Because now, of course, all of this circles around how Jalen is going to play. He's been playing well. It seems like he's got a good flow with Kellen Moore. He's getting the ball out of his hands. I think you're going to see a team that is, like some. I'm not going to start throwing names around, but great quarterbacks that I played against. They got the ball out of their hands. And he's getting the ball out of his hands. Of course, as the game goes along, he's going to start taking more shots downfield and everything. But I see an offense that's, because I'm saying if I'm standing over, I got to deal with Saquon Barkley. You got him back there all the time aimed at you. And then you look at the receivers. I mean, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. They bring Dotson in here. You got Dallas Goedert. I mean, they have a lot of talent. The thing is, they got to go out and execute. Of course, you need a team that stays healthy. But I see a team that can put points on the board. And I think that Kellen Moore coming in here, see, that's the difference from last year. Last year, thing was not flowing. I'm telling you, they're flowing at practice. But we're going to see. We're going to see. But I think that you got a team that's going to do much better. You talk about 5 wins. I mean, if they do, Philadelphia, they're going.
Oh yeah, no, that's not going to go well here.
If they do 5, I tell you what, Angelo's going to have to come in and do a hero thing just to save the team so that they can get home from the game. Because they got things to prove though. They do have things to prove. They got to go out there and they got to do it. But they have a lot of talent. I think anybody take a look at that, you see they got a lot of talent.
How about this, Gary?
Yeah.
I was listening to Vic Fangio talking to the media, and boy, I got to tell you, there is no question he wanted more practice time and more game type reps. And I'm talking exhibition football because listen to this responses. So they were asked a question about conditioning for Jordan Davis and for Jalen Carter. You know what he said? Well, we'll find out. That's practice. That's not game situation.
That's right.
And he also goes on to say, my linebacking core is not set in stone. It's something that's still evolving right now.
Yes.
So quite frankly, He's not. Can you imagine? You're 3 days out and you don't know who your linebackers are right now.
Well, I'll tell you.
I mean, Garry.
I understand why he's being like that. I understand why he's being like that. I mean, come on, these guys haven't proven themselves against anybody. I mean, and I think that keeping this kind of a mindset and him being on them like this is the best thing could happen to their defense. I mean, if they're going to do anything, I don't know how good they are. They don't know how good they are. So, and that's what he said. They asked him, "What's the biggest question you have?" I'd like to see how good these guys are.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard them go, "Oh, we want to know how good they are." And then he also brings this up. They asked the question again, Garry, it's September 3rd, and here's for the 4th time. Hey, what do you think of Bryce Huff? He goes, he's coming along. He's not where he needs to be. To me, I'd read that as he's not a 3-down lineman yet or a 3-down player yet. I mean, so your number one guy that you made a $51 million investment, the defensive coordinator is still sitting there going like this. Well, it's a work in progress.
I mean, I appreciate a coach like that, though.
I do too, but do you think he had a fight? Because Sirianni even said this, Garry, certain coaches wanted to have more practice time and certain coaches wanted to play in the exhibition season. I have to balance that. And I'm like, you ain't balancing shit. Those are people upstairs telling you what to do there. So, I mean, you think that's a shuttle shot at saying, we don't really know what we have on defense yet?
I think it is. I mean, I wouldn't go into a season without having my guys out there. Let's get a look at. Let's see what we got.
Agreed.
This was always the way, but see, that's old. And I'm trying to come in here and bring out this old school stuff. But you have your guys go out there. You want to see what they look like in a real game and everything. You're not talking about scrimmage. You're talking about a real football game against the other team. And so I think that there are definitely some questions. That's what this season is about, is to see how good this defense is, how well do they play against a good team. And, it would be great if you were starting out against, we'll start blasting some of these teams. But,
New York. I'll take New York.
Yeah, we'll take the Giants any day.
Yeah.
They'll pay for the flight to fly them down to be able to play them. But no, they're playing Green Bay, and
big game.
Green Bay was lighting it up last year in the playoffs. They were lighting up some good teams. So, we're going to find out. I mean, and it's a challenge, and I can't say, I give my opinion. That's all it is. It's an opinion.
Yep.
Because I look at the offense and I say, well, and then what I'm thinking is, this offense is going to need to be good early in the season because they got to carry that defense because, you see a lot of young players over there and you can see these guys are learning the NFL game. You got, kids out there, guys, young players who are out there and they've got a lot to learn. But this is why they play the games. And I tell you what, the thing about it is some of the guys that come in, they haven't played in Philly before. Well, like after they play this game, and then when they get back home, depending on how they did, all they gotta do is walk down the street. People will let them know either we like what we saw or we didn't like what we saw, and they don't pull any punches. So,
are you saying people talk under their breath in front of you?
hey, I mean, they do not pull their. I mean, I could walk. Oh man, the birds. They start off. I don't even have to say anything. I walk in a place, man, Cobb. Such and such, like they were going off last year at the end of the season. I'm going like, I just sat there and let them go, man, because a lot of times they're saying the truth. They're not making stuff up. So the offense, I mean, they are coming in. They do have a lot of talent, but there's going to be a lot expected of them, and they got to come in and play. And they're going to have to start off this season because, some, talking to some of the reporters and things over there, they were, they expect a high-scoring game.
Yeah,
that's what they expect.
I do too. I think it's
high-scoring game. Yeah,
I think it's in the mid-30s somewhere in there. I think you're going to see some big numbers up here. One thing is evident too. One thing about Fangio, you could tell he really likes Quinyon Mitchell because he was asked a question about him. And Garry, I got an opinion on this. This is not something, and I took this from him. And I think people are maybe missing this. I don't think they want Quinyon Mitchell to beat Isaiah Rodgers out. Why would you want him to beat a younger player out when that younger player could be here for the next 3 or 4 years? I think they want him to beat Slay out by the end of the year. I mean, isn't that the person that they would want Mitchell replacing? Because he's 34 years old, going to be 35 at the top of the calendar this year. He's going to make $12 million. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the guy they want him replacing. He'd be cornerback number 1, isn't it?
Well, maybe that's what they want. I don't know that, you know.
Because why wouldn't he start over Isaiah Rodgers now? It can't be because he's not as – how about this? Wouldn't you agree, Gary? If he's as equally talented, maybe even not as knowledgeable, but equally as talented.
Yeah.
Him being the 22nd pick, wouldn't you want him to get reps out there in that corner spot instead of having him in the slot or nickel?
You would. Yeah, you would. I think probably if the other youngster had been healthy the whole time, I mean, DeJean.
Cooper DeJean.
Yeah, if DeJean had been healthy the whole time,
okay,
they probably would have had him working over there. But right now, really, he's playing in the spot that they wanted DeJean in there. They looked at DeJean playing the nickel spot and Quentin being outside, outside the outside cornerback.
And maybe Mitchell has more versatility where he can do that because I'll tell you this. When I saw Cooper DeJean on the field against Minnesota, Gary, I didn't see corner hips. I saw safety hips.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people in Philly are talking about him playing on the numbers, but you and I know what a corner looks like, and I'm not sure I see it there.
I didn't see the quickness there either. I didn't see that. I saw a safety. That's what I thought I saw out there. Now, he hadn't been playing, so I said, well, maybe that's it. But I'm going to continue to watch him to see, if he's got the quickness to be out there in that corner because, it takes somebody that's got some burners if you're going to be out there, or they're going to go after you. They're going to be going. Well, they're going to go after you anyway. But if you don't have the burners, boy, it's fast on that highway out there.
Hey, that's the one thing he don't want to do either, Fangio. He don't want to get beat on the numbers. He don't mind in the middle of the field where there's pursuit. But on the numbers is what fears that high safety 2 defense that he plays.
Yes.
That 2-eye safety, man. I mean, he's trying to corral you in the middle of the field in that zone. The numbers are what kills that defense.
Yeah. Now, I like that defense because of the way it is. It's got an aggressive bent to it.
Yeah.
And they can't get after people. And I hope these guys go out there and have fun, man. The defense should be having fun. I mean, go in there, because they need to get to Love, man. You got to get some pressure on him. You can't let him get comfortable where he's out there and nobody's putting their hands on him. You got to be giving him some licks. We don't want him sleeping when he get on that plane to come back. He should not be able to get any sleep. They got to put some licks on him and not let him get comfortable back there because that kid can light you up. If you're not putting any pressure on him, you're just letting him sit back there and just pick you apart. You cannot let that happen.
See, here's my couple last ones for you, Gary. Here's my concern, and here's what Vic even said too. He goes, "This thing's going to be an all-day affair." I mean, this guy can play. He's versatile. Yeah. They spread you out. Yeah. The head coach is a great play caller. I mean, I look at Jordan Love, and I kind of see where Angelo is a little bit on this. Like, where's the advantage of covering even their tight end, who's not horrible? He's good. They've got a nice core of wide receivers. They spread the ball out. It's kind of a setup like Kansas City minus Travis Kelce and how they spread the ball out. Their back maybe a little bit with Josh Jacobs. But, I mean, I don't see where the advantage Philadelphia has defensively in corralling him unless, like you said, it's that defense that keeps everything under control and it's control and contain. Don't give up the big play. They're hoping for him to make a mistake in a 12-play drive or a 10-play drive.
And you got to have defensive linemen beating their man one-on-one.
Absolutely.
You got to have some wins. Now, have I seen that consistently? I can't say that I just, I've seen it some, but they got to show up with that. I mean, they got to be getting some hits on him. If he's back there comfortable and everything, then you know what? I'm going to be looking at the game like this. You know what I mean? So, but they got to get some licks on him. I want to see some guys winning their one-on-ones, man, because that's the one thing about that defense is you're going to get some one-on-ones, you know, and I know they're probably, you know who they're going to make sure that Jalen Carter, they're going to be trying to double him, you know, because he's the guy that we know can win the one-on-ones, but they need other guys. Come on. Why you bring these guys in there? I want to see somebody winning some one-on-one battles and getting to the quarterback, putting some licks on him. You know, if they don't get the sack, I want to put some licks on him.
Gary, I haven't said this in the first couple parts of the show, but I know some folks up there on that coaching staff for Green Bay. You know what they're running? A lot of stretch plays. I think they're going to try to run that stretch play that they ran against Dallas last year, which means that the two defensive tackles, they're going to try to wear them out and try to create space in the middle there because they don't believe the linebackers at the second level can make run-stopping plays. So they're doing a lot of stretch plays, and they didn't practice that in those organized practices because New England didn't run it. We don't run a stretch play. Now, we run kind of like a read option. That's kind of a variation of it a little bit. But Green Bay's going to run that stretch play at them come Friday, and that's how you wear out defensive linemen, especially big dudes.
You make a good point. I mean, I was talking about rushing the passer. Now, if they're letting them run the ball on them, then we're asking for trouble because that's letting them control the game, long drives. You know, they got to show up, man. And you're right. I mean, I definitely could. I would go after those linebackers if that's who I think that that's the way that if I'm looking at this team, I'm going to find out these linebackers came to play. And so it's going to be a game which I don't think anybody's going to sleep well.
No, it's a 60-minute game. This is going to be – it's a turnover. This is going to come down to, as it always does, Gary, who makes the critical stop in turnovers here. And I got one last one here for you. Did you have a problem? Sirianni, he kind of confirmed it what Jalen said last week that his growth was a little bit halted by the fact that the organization and Kelsey was making all the line calls and all the protection calls. I mean, am I really supposed to sit here and think inside of 4 months, Gary, that a new center, a new coordinator, Jalen Hurts got better in 4 months on picking blitzes up with all new personnel? I mean, I'm not even sure the tush push works.
Well,
sit here and think that because Green Bay's going to blitz him.
Oh, without a doubt. Now, I think that, I understand what he's saying. And, I mean, I think that Jalen, he wanted to be running things. He wants to run things. He knows there's more on his plate now. I think he wanted this. He wanted, to be running everything as the quarterback. So he's got what he wants. Now, he show us that you can handle it. That's basically what it is now. Is he going to get everything right? No, but hopefully he's got a good enough field. And now that's the kind of thing we're going to find out. How good of a field does he have of what they're doing? Now, one benefit that I saw in the way that they've been playing the game, with what I've seen throughout training camp is he's been getting the ball out of his hands. They have an offense set up that he can get the ball out of his hands if he wants. Maybe, hey, it's a 2-yard throw. Maybe it's a 5, 10, whatever. If he's getting the ball out of his hands, they're going to be all right. They're going to be all right. So that's why I like what they're in, meaning that I like the fact that Kellen Moore has got an offense like that where he can get the ball out of his hands. So even if he's seeing blitz, even if they make a mistake, he's getting the ball out of his hands, all right, they're going to be all right. Maybe it's a 4-yard gain, 5-yard gain, but if he's getting the ball out of his hands, that means the blitz didn't get there. He got the ball out of his hands. I don't think he's going to be throwing many interceptions because these are conservative passes. And I think that if he does that, goes into the game the way he's been playing, which is I'm gonna be patient. I'm gonna take what they give me initially till I start looking downfield. If he plays the game like that, I think they'll be fine.
You think they win Friday?
I pick them. Yeah, I pick them, but I don't know what we're getting into. I don't think Green Bay knows because what kind of defense does Green Bay have? What kind of defense do the Eagles have? We're going to find out, but I don't think we know.
I don't either.
I think both offenses are good, but the defenses, I hear, Green Bay's changed a lot of things. Clearly, the Eagles have changed a lot of things. We are going to find out on Friday evening.
Absolutely, man. I actually can't wait because now rent's due. We're all ready to roll here, man.
Right. Hey, rent is due.
Hey, no more pontificating. Okay, here it is, man. I mean, look, we're gonna find out if he can read blitzes, if they can pick it up, the push work, they can run the ball, they can stop people, the corners are okay. We're gonna find all this out. I mean,
we are gonna, we are.
There's no more, breaking it down. This is it.
And I'll tell you, this is, all of the question marks. This is a lot of question marks going into a season. A lot of question marks. Normally, it's not this much if you figure you got a good team. And, that makes you take a breath,
Because, you look at that defense and you go, what is it? What is the defense? Because, look, you think the offense has an identity. Hey, one more thing here. Jaws said something on IP this morning. He said something about physicality. He's concerned that they don't have the physicality that they had, and they didn't show it in the second half of the season last year when they stopped running the ball, and they just didn't look very physical on both sides of the ball. Do you think that comes back here on at least the offensive side? Because I don't personally think they're very physical. Well, depends. If Jordan Davis and Jalen Carter show physicality in the middle, that'll be a sign that those guys are bringing physicality to it. We'll see if they can, like Vic said. But that offense, Garry, do you really think they're going to be and go back to being physical like they did in 22? Because Jaws questions it.
Yeah, that is a great
if you're throwing the ball, Garry, you got all those guys throwing the ball, that means they're going to throw. Do you think they throw the ball 35 times in that game on Friday?
I think so.
Well, then that's not physical football.
I would agree with you. And, everybody talks about, what a great job, their offensive line coaching. He is good, He does a great job, but
he does.
But we're gonna find out. That's those are question marks, and I think they're legitimate. And I know I didn't see them up against the defense where they go in there. They got the first string offensive line in there. They go out there and they pound the ball on somebody. I haven't seen them do that, but that's another question. So I think they're capable of it. But you're right. It's a mindset. See, it's a mindset now. I think with the 35 passes, it's a matter of how they get to those passes,
Yeah, if they're checkdowns, then it shows football IQ.
Yeah. But I know with with the offensive coordinator he has had
Kellen Moore.
what Kellen Moore, what they say, like when he was down in Dallas, he wasn't crazy about running the ball all the time.
Yeah, right.
But you know what? I can't say that I know for sure, but I'm going to be interested. And I'm going to be. I'm going to have my notebook out. You know what I mean? I'm going to be writing it down.
Do you think Barkley gets 20 carries in that game Friday?
Woo! I think it would be great if he did, but I say
20
no.
Carries and 20 carries and 35 passes. Okay, I find that hard to believe that in 55 plays it's going to be those two dudes. No way, man. I think that guy maybe gets 12 carries in that ball game on Friday, and they're going to throw the ball a ton. You don't pay $61 million for two wide receivers to run the ball with Kenny Gainwell, do you?
No, no, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't. That's why. I'm thinking I'm going to be going into this game. I don't think we really know what we're getting into, but I'm going to be excited about that. But I would hope that, man, if they're pounding that ball, man, you punch these guys right in the face, man, and run that ball down their throat. That would be a great, that attitude going in with some of that, man. They need to have that, and they got some boys up front. Big Landon Dickerson and those guys. They're ready for. I think they're ready for a fist fight. Let's go, man. Let's go.
Hey, I'm ready for it, Garry. Garry, should be interesting, man. I appreciate you doing this.
But I hope Angelo's not right. Angelo, no. We can't.
I asked him, I even gave him this. I go, do you want to amend it? And he goes like this. I go, how many wins? He goes, he's coming on Monday either to be sad about the loss or to eat crow. But he went like this. He thinks the Packers are winning big.
Woo!
He thinks that Jordan Love's going to throw for over 400 yards. And he went like this. Look, Gary. Gary, like this.
Hey, I tell you what. I've seen him saying some of these things, but
he goes like this. This pains me. 5 wins.
Hey, if Angelo is right, then I guess I'm gonna have to move out of here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move out of here. If Angelo's right.
God.
I hope he's not, man. Hey, we can't let Angelo be right about that.
You know what? Everyone in here is like this. Sills, you sound like, I go, are you crazy? That means no one's going to care. That'd be horrible for my show if they got killed like that on Friday. Are you crazy?
No, hey, no, come on now. Wait a minute. You don't know Philly, do you? Man, the dogs are going to be out. Hey, if that would have happened, boy. Because people
Gary,
are going to want.
If the Packers beat the Eagles 45-10 on Friday, what will Monday be like?
Man, hey, I am gonna have to move out of here. You know, are you kidding me?
Oh
man,
my
hey, if they were to get their butts whooped like that, I tell you what, it's gonna change my attitude because I'm gonna be over there with the hounds, and just like them, I want a piece of meat. I want somebody's blood or something. Golly, if they were to get whooped like that, oh man.
Now, on the other hand, what if they whip the Packers 45-3?
If they whoop them, you know, hey, great. Like I said, this team has got a lot of talent. You know,
see, I want one or the other. Gary, I want one or the other. I don't want anything in the middle.
Hey, if they get whooped like that, and you know what? It's just like they tell a guy when he's going in there, hey, button up your chin strap. That's what you better do. If they get whooped like that, man, I don't know if we're gonna make it through the season. If it gets like that. I
tell you, there's one concern I have about the players. There's a lot of them complaining about going to Brazil and playing. Now, don't get beat getting on the plane. Okay? Everyone, right. Packers have to get on that plane too. Don't make that an issue. Get on the plane, do your 9-hour flight. We've all done those.
Now who somebody said that? Who said that?
Slay.
What?
Slay.
Man, Slay, that's not the kind of thing.
Devontae said no comment.
Hey, and especially a leader. Especially a leader. Man, you do not need to be saying that. We don't care nothing about no flight. Care nothing about no flight.
Slay put a video. Slay put a video out about it saying how he didn't want to go.
Look, forget that. That's nonsense, man. Come on. Especially a veteran guy. You can't be talking around your young players like that. Especially you can't have that attitude. We don't care about no stinking flight, man. The whole season is on the line, man. Yeah. Forget all that nonsense.
He posted that too, and I posted it on my Twitter.
Shouldn't be saying stuff like that, man.
Yeah, he's like this. He goes, I told my family not to come. He goes, I told my family not to come. I'll be staying in the hotel. I mean, I don't get it. I don't want to go really, but I'm looking forward to the start.
Look, now, hey, man, we always had, you go on the road, man. Forget the road.
Yeah,
we're not going on there. Not going down there on a vacation. Don't care nothing about that. This is your business. We don't care nothing about no flight, man. You shouldn't be talking that way around, especially these young players. That's the last thing. These kids haven't even shown they can play in the league. The last thing they need to hear is a veteran talking about some flight or going down to whatever. Look, you kids get your butt ready to play, man. You don't need a vet around there.
I was shocked. Like that, I was shocked that he would post something like that.
That's not,
that's a defeatist attitude before you even get on the plane.
You cannot do that. Like somebody crying about the stadium you're playing in and everything. Look, we don't have time to be crying, man. That's the other guys, are they crying? They're not crying. Look, you better get ready to play football.
He was crying about
And
IVs. Yeah, JM's right. He was crying about the IV situation and luxury hotels. I mean,
dude, you
hey,
know,
look, I posted it because I actually couldn't believe it either.
you got a young team, man. You do not need, well, really, you don't need anybody on the team talking like that. But you do not need your veteran players being a distraction to your young kids talking about the flight and going to whatever. Look, we got a game to play. This is our business. You know, our business is not practicing. See, that's not really the business. The business happens in them 60 minutes during the game, because that's when they decide whether people continue to play or you need to maybe go find another profession. You don't be talking like that. That's a veteran player talking like that, man. They should not be talking like that, because no, we don't care nothing about how long the flight is. Green Bay's taking the same flight. Okay,
absolutely embrace it. Like some of the folks in here are saying, you got to embrace that shit, man, and go play.
Let's get ready. The whole talk should be, we put in all this work, and now we're getting ready to get into what.
Even if you're lying, we got. Hey, I'm looking forward to the opportunity. Let's go play a ball game. Hey, man, Gary, how many times did you get in a flight where you had a flight on to Tampa when you played in the NFC North and you had to go back and forth like that? Now, that flight's not 9 hours, but it's a pain in the ass to go back and forth from Detroit to Tampa or fly to Seattle or some shit like that.
When I was taking those flights, if I heard one of the young kids over here talking, look, dude, button up your chin strap and shut your mouth. Yep. Okay? Get ready to play. I want to hear that nonsense about the flight and all that. This is a business trip. That's why it's not going down there to meet Joey, meet whoever. Forget that, man. We're going down here to win the game, you know? And that's what it's about. And this whole season, the first game of the season, we got to be focused on Green Bay and beating Green Bay and winning the game. I don't care nothing about no flight. I don't care what we're playing on. You can't get that because, you know, you got young guys who have enough trouble remembering their assignments. And they're over here. If I caught one of them over there talking, I don't know if I want to go either. You know what? Maybe we'll leave you behind here then.
Anyway, Gary, what people don't realize, those chartered planes that the players are on, okay, there's 50 dudes that are on that plane. They'll probably take 2 planes. You get a whole aisle to yourself. You get to sleep in there. You get to do whatever. They're chartered planes. You're not sitting there with folks in there. You got kind of space in there. Get your food. Do whatever. Get yourself prepared, man. Mental preparation for this thing.
And see, you know, you get around the NFL, you see the good teams. It's business, man.
Yeah.
The veteran players do not, on a good team, veteran players will take care of a kid, make sure, look, you better know what you're doing because this is our team, okay? And you know, maybe you did that in college. You're not doing that here. You better know what you're doing, or we're gonna be putting our foot up your behind.
Gary, let me give you this last thing here. I'll tell you what used to always aggravate me about the Hurricanes. Every time we would go and play in the cold, the first thing that some of them Floridian kids, and you know them Florida guys, some of them guys never been north of the state line.
Come on, I went through that. I went through that at USC.
And when they go to the cold, like when you guys went up to Oregon and shit, or Washington, and places like that, and some of the California guys have only lived in Southern California, first thing out of their mouths, hey man, I've never seen snow. I'm like,
it's
cold. Get your
man.
hush puppies ready.
That's right. and that's the way. Hey, and that's the way we say, hey man, look, we don't care if it's a blizzard, whatever. Man, we got to fight up here, you know. And if you got in a fight, you're gonna stand there. Well, look at the weather. Why the dude is whooping your behind? Come on, no man. So I tell the boys, hey, get ready to play. I don't care how long the flight is. Get ready to play football, and you better be coming with your fist balled up because I think Green Bay's gonna show up ready to play. So,
oh yeah, this is gonna be a good one, Gary. Gary, I appreciate it, my friend.
All right,
Thank
buddy.
you.
I'm ready.
You got it. Rent is due on Friday, man. Just like Gary Cobb said here, guys. Do me a favor, hit the like button. Xander's gonna join us on the other side. I've got my bold predictions coming up. You hear what he said, man? If this thing and Angelo is right with 5 wins, they'll light the city on fire. They'll light the city on fire. Where are we on the like list right now? Tell us, guys. Tell me where we are on the like list here. Please hit that like button. You guys have been great today. You guys have been great really for the last 3 weeks here. So appreciate you guys so much, man. 200, man. All right, guys. let's try to see if we can hit 100. I'd like to get 100 likes here in the final hour. Xander's going to join us on the other side. I've got my bold predictions, plus what Angelo said. I'd be interested to hear what Xander has to say. Hit the like button. Keep it here, National Football Show.
If you missed any of today's show on the JAKIB Media channel, listen to the podcast on your way home. Available on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify.